Thank you for joining us today for the virtual Sunday service with the Center for Creative Living. CCL, a charter of the Universal Church of the Master, has served and supported the spiritual needs of its community here in the Bay Area for over 20 years.
Good morning. If everybody would please be seated. You should have a card to write a question down. The question is from my Spirit Guide Ma, and it can be as anonymous as you want, but just write out a question and put some kind of mark on the paper that you're handing me. So, and I can say I've got a heart, or I've got a cross, or I've got a square, or to identify that it's your question. That's the only reason, is just to identify it. When I read it, you'll know it's yours that I'm answering. Because during a time that we're in, during a pandemic, there's a lot of people who are interested in health and healing and things like that, so we don't want to be answering the same question over and over. So when I answer a question, I'll read the question, and if it's answering your question, that's going to be great, okay? One of the first things I want to talk to you about today is that as we start a new year, I want you all to realize this is a time for new beginnings. And many times people say, oh, it's always going to be the same. No, it's not. But you're the one in charge. And I know so many of you have been feeling absolutely bereft, that you have no way of being in charge. Everybody else is telling you what to do and how to do it. And it gets really, really frustrating because you know you're an individual with individual thoughts, and lately you haven't been able to express that. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Okay. And as I go through here, I want you to realize that the Center for Creative Living is still alive and moving forward. It's just in a different location as far as church goes. And we're so delighted that you found us, for those of you it's the first time here. And next week, we're going to have Joan Stutes is going to be speaking. And she's going to be speaking about keep your eye on the ball in prosperity in 2022. Many of you are trying to figure out what to do as far as prosperity goes, and there's a lot of things that you can be doing as far as prosperity goes. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to be prosperous in the new year next week, okay? We're going to start out with a meditation, and we have two wonderful musicians, I think. Is there a Sean in the house? Sean in the house. Okay.
Sean, your presence is requested.
Your presence is requested. Good morning, everybody. How was your Christmas and New Year's? Happy New Year. Everybody have a good New Year's? Well, you're here, so it couldn't have been too difficult.
Well, you're here, so what? Because it was difficult.
We drove up last night all the way from Oceanside, which, if those of you don't know, is pretty close to San Diego. So I'm a little bit trying to get grounded already. For our meditation this morning, we're going to be talking about it's a brand new day.
Thank God.
Just think of that. How many times do you have to start over?
Every day?
Every day. But it takes a special day when you realize I'm in charge. And that's what a new year does. It helps you look at a brand new day because you're in charge. I think birthdays do the same thing. But for right now, we're going to be taking a nice deep breath. And close your eyes. Listen to our wonderful Reverend Janet Childs, Sean Imler, as they awaken us to a brand new day.
Just allow yourself to feel this moment. That is awakening to you right now. There is no need to be any It's a new day, and I am here now. And as you are feeling this wonderful moment, this unrepeatable moment, let it fill you up. Let it send you to your wildest dreams. Let it hold you in its embrace. And imagine that the world is embracing you. And the universe is embracing you. And all you need to do right now is to receive. Receive this moment. Let it sink into you. Let every cell of your body feel this moment. This moment that is unrepeatable. There is no other moment that will take the place of this, that will be exactly the same. And you are alive, alive in this moment. You have made a choice to live on this earth in these amazing times, in these sometimes troubling times. Have said, yes, I will. Yes, it can be done. Si se puede. Si se puede. And you light the candle of your heart and you say, I will be here. I will shine. I will bring my unique light to this day. It's a new day, it's a new day, filling us up with its wonder. It's a new day, it's a new day, where the threads of the past weave anew, of healing, of forgiving, and of living fully now. This day I hold true to all I bring to the world. And notice that you do not have to do this alone, my friends. We can do it together. No longer the lone pilgrim on the path. We are a community that builds this new day together. And just allow yourself to go to the places and the memories where you can recall community, where you feel like you are with many people who are building this new day. We are building a new day. It is reaching out and touching every soul. We are living in a new way that embraces one and two become whole. We are bringing our wisdom and our unique light. We are bringing all that we can hold, all that we can be. We are bringing bring this new day to yourself and to others. This is our beginning. We can release all that is gone, all that no longer serves us. Just feel it being gently lifted from your heart and from your mind, and from your soul and from your body. The burdens can be laid down. Lay down my burdens and I let my wings unfold to fly. Oh, feel this new day wrap around us like a promise from the one Creator who fills us with light and love. And we have this promise from the depths of the earth and from the sky above. Oh, we're building a new day. It's a new day. And we are not alone. We are building a new day. Yeah, it's a new day. And we hold ourselves to this. We are powerful. We are gentle. We are free. We are holding all that we can bring and all that we can be. We are building a new day. It's a new way. And we're holding out our hands. We are building a new day. It's a new day. And we hold, we can take a stand. We are building a new day. It's a new way. And we know we have each other and everything we bring to this moment is the sweet promise of spring. We are building a new day, a new way. We are building a new day. We are building a new day. It's a new day. And we hold out our hand. We are building a new day. It's a brand new way. And we are going to take a stand. Stand for love, a stand for peace, a stand for hope, a stand for healing. A new day, it's a new way. We are holy and love. We are building a new day, and in a new way, we bring our light to the earth. We're building a new day. We reach out our hands in a new way. We are building a new day. We are building a new day. It's a new way. And we are here right now. We are here now. And feel that presence, my friends. Feel your presence on the earth. Feel your light shining forth. And know that you can build a new day. We can build a new day. And we are in this new day together. We are building a new day, bringing a new ray that is thousands of years old. We are building a new day, bringing our light, bringing our heart, and bringing our soul. It's a new day. It's a new day.
Janet, thank you so very much. And Sean, that was wonderful. And I thank you all for realizing that you can sing with your mask on, and you can get the feeling of being a part of the ceremony here this morning. Thank you, Janet. That's always so delightful. She just made up that song.
Beautiful.
No, wonderful. During the day, aren't you going to be thinking, I'm building a new day? It's wonderful. And Ed, our wonderful technician over here. Ed. Do we have people on Zoom?
17.
Well, okay.
Wow.
Well, would you mind, when they ask questions, if you could refer them to me? Okay, sounds good. This is a unique day for a church service because we're a spiritualist church. We're part of the Universal Church of the Master, which believes that each one of us walks our own path, and that there's not just one God, there is a God. Meaning that however you see God and feel God and know the Creator is absolutely perfect. Many, many wars have been fought over your God or my God, but it's our God. And so if you're new here, just know that we are part of an organization that started in 1906 called the Universal Church of the Master that stressed that each one of us walking our own path. So when we think of it's a new day, it's a new time to be walking a path that we have created. How many times have you heard somebody say, how could they do that to me? How could they do that to me? They're bad. How could they do that to me? It's not how, no, what they did to you, it's how you accepted it or not accepted it. And somebody said, well, Dottie, they said such and such. I said, isn't that interesting? To me, that's the best go-to. If you all in your life find a go-to slogan or go-to saying, and someone said, well, so-and-so said such and such, and I just look at them and go, isn't that interesting? With no judgment. And so that's one of the things we want to talk about through all of our services here at the Billy DeFrank Center. We're so glad to be starting in 2022 here at the center. It's a wonderful place. Well, I'm going to be talking about my Spirit Guide because UCM not only is a multi-faith church, but also is based on spirituality. Many of our ministers do spiritual readings all over the world. And I started hearing from my Spirit Guide Mahalaleel when I was 5. Now, that was a very difficult name. I was sitting in a box. It was a freezer box, an empty freezer box, by the way, in the middle of the desert. It was during the Second World War. It was in 1941. And that's where I went to play. This was my playhouse. And this man appeared. Well, I had a sense that he was a little bit unique because I could kind of see through him, which is not typically when you're meeting people. And he just sat down cross-legged in this box with me. And I said, and I am very much, hi, I'm Dottie. And that's what I was then, too. Hi, I'm Dottie. And he said, I'm Mahalaleel. I said, hi, Ma. And that's what I've been calling him for the rest of my life. It wasn't until about 20 years ago that I found Mahalaleel's name in the Bible. And Mahalaleel was the grandson of Adam. And I said, Ma, you're the grandson of Adam. And he said, I'm more proud of being the great-grandfather of Methuselah. You know, and so it was one of those things of, this guy's got, you know, age on his side. I mean, he's been around for a long time. He was born in India. And so quite often when he talks to me, you can feel that kind of Hindu, Zoroastrian, Sufi background in Ma. Because he is the one who keeps telling me everybody is unique and everybody has a choice. Never take away their choice. Okay? And that's very difficult to do because we don't know why people are choosing the things they're choosing. He says, defend those that you feel are weaker than you and listen to those you feel are stronger. Kind of something to live by. Help those that are weaker than you and listen to those that are stronger. See, you never know what you're going to be learning. Okay. When you walked in today, you should have been given a card. And on that card, I want you to ask any question you have in the world of my Spirit Guide Ma. And Annie is going, if you've got filled out your card already, Annie is going to go around. This is Reverend Ann. She is our wonderful assistant pastor, and she's going to go around and pick up the cards. And then when I do that, when I answer it, if this is something that you go, I don't know about that answer, question it. You know, I can't tell you to question everything and then you just blindly believe whatever Ma has to say, because quite often he's cryptic and asks for a little bit more about what it is, okay, that he's talking about. Thank you. The first question that many people have asked me is, how long is the pandemic going to last? And Ma says, the pandemic as a pandemic is going to be going through the year of 2022, and it's going to get less amount of people that are going to be dying of it. But this virus is going to be with us for as long as you're alive. Now, some of you have another 30, 40, 50 years. Since I'm 84, I might not have that quite that many, but there's going to be. But as long as you're alive, this virus is still here. And we wish it could completely be obliterated like we did smallpox and polio. But physically, people are doing different things. So all you do is take care of you. And just know that fewer people are going to be dying of this. So in 2023, we're going to have a lot better results to announce. But if you say, I want it completely gone, that means everybody you know has to be exactly in the same place you are, and they aren't. We can't convince people of something they don't believe in. Hallelujah. The people all have choice. Sometimes it's difficult, but just know what people do is their choice, okay? And I need some water, I think. I'm going to be channeling Ma. Anybody want to ask anything about my spirit guide? I love talking about Ma. Yes, Amanda.
What are things going to look like for me this year?
Oh, okay, your personal question. Okay, wait just a minute until I get my water. No problem, it's perfect. I just need to get some water so I can talk. Thank you, Jen. Okay. Oh, it's ice cold. The pipes must have been cold.
Your pipes too.
My pipes too, yeah.
I have a
Mary?
question about Ma.
Yeah,
Okay, you've had the Spirit Guide since you've been 5.
right.
How come we all don't get such a burning bush, so to speak?
I think a lot of you had noise in your house, you had things going on in your house. I was one of those kids that I had a tire in a tree, and I would just sit there and sing during the day. It was during wartime. Very few people around, and we were living on a ranch in a little town called Lancaster, California. There was nobody there for me to play with. There was no TV, and I couldn't listen to the radio except a special news hour. And everybody was working in the fields. I was all by myself. And that constant being by yourself, you start doing inward thinking, even though you're at a very young age. And I believe that's why. Because I'm the eldest of 10. And so after my father returned from the service, and yeah, there started to be a lot more children being born, I had already connected with Mom. But I have a feeling it could have been different if I had been the middle child. Okay. Yes, Lonnie.
When I saw the picture of Mom, and then I realized that Mom is Mahatma Babaji.
Yeah, and so when I asked him, I said, Ma, you look like Babaji, and he said yes. And I said, well, are you Babaji? He said no, but he and I are one. Huh.
Oh,
Now that's a typical, Ed, isn't that a kind of a typical spirit remark? You know, now what do I do with that? Because that Ma answers things sometimes like that. Other times he's so direct. But so for me, when they talk about Babaji keeps coming back, and Ma was one of those incarnations, I guess, but quite a while ago. Then he came back to be a part of this little girl sitting in a box in the desert. Okay, yes.
Can you just say a little bit, like right in this moment, is he right at your shoulder?
Thank you for the question. He is here.
Why don't you say it again so the people can hear it?
And your name, sir?
Chris.
Chris had asked where is Ma? Is he here? Is he on my shoulder? Is he? He is. It's for me, Ma's like the air I breathe. He's, and I'll just be going along and I'll say, Ma, and he's there. Just like taking in a deep breath. And sometimes I'm focusing on something really intently and somebody will say, well, what does Ma have to say? I don't know. Let me finish threading this needle and then we'll talk. I have, like when I'm driving, I try not to channel Ma because sometimes it gets really interesting and I'm talking about something brand new or different and I'm trying to drive a car. So it's pretty much when I say, Ma, what do you think? Or Ma, what's going on? That he appears. And then sometimes he just appears if he thinks I need to take particular attention to something that's going on. Okay, or somebody asks me a question. I do readings. During the pandemic, I've been in my house doing readings on the phone. And one of the interesting things is I had a client call me while I was in the car, and we were driving to the San Diego area, Oceanside. And she had a question of Ma, and she had to have it answered right now. And I said, well, I'm in the car. And somebody else is driving. She said, that's okay. So, I need to know. And so Sherry and Corky got to hear me do a reading in the reading from Ma. And afterwards they go, wow, how does he know that? I don't know how he knows that. I've asked him, Ma, how do you know that? And he says, I'm old.
Well, does he speak to their spirit guide? Or?
Does he speak to their spirit guide? It depends on if they are so connected. What I mean by so connected, if Ma has an idea of who this person's guide is, he'll talk to anybody. One day I said to him, Ma, did you know who Jesus was, or were you aware of Jesus, or whatever? He said, I always liked that kid. I mean, it's that kind of reaction where you're expecting, trumpets and the clouds part, and he says, yes, indeed. No, he's very matter of fact about people he has known, places he's been.
And he'll bring you experts.
Yeah. Well, I forget what it was, but I couldn't answer the question. He couldn't answer the question. He brought me a guy who specialized in the field in which he says, yeah. What'd you say?
Edison.
Yeah. Annie?
I know he lived a physical life as Babaji. How many times has he incarnated in this lifetime but still been out there guiding? So has he been, obviously a wise man and a teacher throughout any of his incarnations?
He says that he has not kept count because he didn't think his ego could take it.
I like that.
Okay.
You see what I mean? These things that come through me, I don't understand sometimes, but other people do. So that's, when I do readings, I'll say something to somebody that I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Thanks.
Okay. So, any other questions about
Did you answer his question?
Did I answer your question, Chris?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, yes.
I don't have to get answers now, but can we ask you about our own personal guide?
Sure.
At some point?
Sure.
I don't know when we do.
Why don't you ask? You're on.
Really?
Give me your name.
Valerie
Yeah.
McNeil. So I have this woman that appears to me physically, but I know you can stick your hand through her. And she shows up since I'm 6, and I call her Spirit Lady.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells me such pragmatic, practical stuff. It's
Mhm.
unbelievable. And I don't know anybody else that's as weird as I am until I came here. And now I got two other spirit guides on the side that are telling me, we've always been here too, and there's these two like blue collar looking guys named Keith and Hank. And they look like they're plumbers.
Yeah.
It's like I can go straight to them and say, I need this stuff to make it happen. And then I see stuff before it happens. Like,
Good.
but it's scary.
Why?
Well, because I'm a weirdo, but it also gives me assignments. And I always pray to it. You know, it's cleaning my back to get these visions. And I whine for days, and it just keeps coming. And then I pray, and I go, is this for good or bad? And it's for good. And I have something for you to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do it, and then it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And some people aren't very nice to me. I have to be careful who I tell or who I don't tell.
Now that is the first step you take when you have a guidance. Is you don't want to scare the horses, as Ma says. You know, you don't want to frighten other people that think, oh, you're really strange. For me, and I tell people, I only talk to people who have asked or who I know. But I'm not going to, well, I guess I have to take that back. I was in a grocery store one time, and this lady in front of me, my dad said, tell her. And so I tapped her on the shoulder and I said, you left your iron plugged in.
Oh my God.
And she said to her husband, did you leave the iron plugged in? He said, yeah, I forgot to unplug it. They were leaving on a 6-month trip around the United States.
Wow.
And they both, nobody said thank you, they just bolted out of the So every once in a while, Mom would do something like that where he feels somebody needs to know something that nobody else is going to tell them, you know. But usually I stick with people who are appreciative and are not making me or Mom wrong. They're just interested. That's the difference.
Well, mine is, I don't get to the point where I tell, I say, get in your car and start driving, we'll tell you where to go, but we're not telling you yet. Just drive around and say, where do you want me? They'll go to your grandmother's house for that black vase that you want to give to your sister for a birthday. I'm going, why? Just go to the store. For it. So I threw it there and she's had a stroke.
Right.
So I find her laying on the floor, but she hadn't had a stroke yet when my spirit guide woke me up. So get dressed, get ready, you're going to go somewhere.
Right.
I get that kind of stuff. I don't tell anybody, but then with my daughter, it was a big old deal. I saw this whole thing in detail. She says it's 2 years, I think it's 2 months. Like, all these things, because nothing's going to happen.
And just say thank you. Don't question it, just say thank you.
It kind of makes me feel like a freak, though.
Why? Do you feel good being a freak?
Well, I think my mom, she was like Irish Catholic, and she on her side, she says it's Spade and it's Irish, and she never.
I mean, when I say, do you feel good being a freak? Because if you enjoy the energy.
No, she called me Satan's spawn as a kid.
Well, that was your mother, not you.
All right, I just need to be released of that.
Yeah, you know, because your mother was scared.
Yeah.
When you see a child of yours doing something very different, it's very scary for a mother. They feel they're going to be blamed, or they feel they're going to be found accountable, that they need to be accountable for raising a child this way. We've got so many strange kids in my family that if they're normal, we don't know, we wonder where they came from. Yes, Amanda?
Could I add something?
Yes.
So I have a spirit guide named Slimmin. She said that her name was Swimel or something, but everybody calls her Swimmin. So she came to me when I was like 4. I was living in a house. Anyways, I would talk to her, and because I was like being by myself, and I would play with this imaginary friend.
Can any of you hear what Amanda is saying?
A little bit.
Okay.
So, is it okay if I?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yes, so I would talk to her, and my grandma, my mom's mom, she would be like, are you talking to your angel? And I was like, she's my angel? She's like, and my grandma's like, yeah, Mama, God sent her to be with you.
Yes, and I love that explanation. And take it that way, Valerie. that, you know, this is not anything that was demonic.
Oh, no.
This is very special. So when your mom was just scared,
Yeah,
she didn't know what to do.
Yeah, I just was like, I don't believe in all that because I grew up Unitarian with atheists, so I don't have all that devil stuff. I just didn't know why she was so mean to me, you know, it made me feel self-conscious.
Because she didn't want you disrupting the neighborhood. She, you know, parents are like that. You know, watch parents when they say, oh, sit down. You know, mine was always, would you just sit down and be quiet?
I used to get in trouble for talking to myself.
Right.
When I was a kid, and my mom was like, who are you talking to? I was like, I'm talking to my spirit guide. She was like, what? That's bad.
That's, yeah. So because people automatically say something's bad if they don't understand it. Have you noticed that? So that's not good. That's
One more thing and then I'll leave you alone. Apparently as a little kid I would blurt it out, oh, didn't Uncle so-and-so die? I don't remember, and she'd say all the relatives would call each other and they'd say he's going to be dead in 2 weeks. So I was kind of creepy to have around, but I don't remember it. You know, I just know as an adult I'll see stuff before now.
That's fine, yeah.
But it's like I feel like I was hated or something.
Don't. Every time you do something different, say, oh, isn't that one, right? Remember what I say? Isn't that interesting? Something comes up and you go, oh, isn't that interesting? You don't judge it. You stood up back there. Did you have a question or you just, oh, you're just standing. Okay, that's fine. Because what my guide says is that when you sit down, you're stretching some muscles that aren't supposed to be stretched. So if you can stand for a while, that's great. But if you want to walk around, it's better for your back than just standing perfectly still. He wants you to be comfortable, okay? Yes.
Hi, I wanted to ask Mom if there's anything to that first child, that connection.
Wait, I can't understand a word after you said ask Mom. But
ask Mom if there's anything about the eldest born child and having that stronger connection. I remember being around 5 or 6 and I didn't know it was a channel at the time, but my stuffed animals, that pretend play actually was actually my birth guides. I learned later on.
Yeah.
Dottie, can you repeat for the remote people? If you can. And what I would ask is try and keep a question, not a story. Because I've got a lot of stuff on the remote people, so let's keep it.
Okay. A lot of cards in that.
Okay, being the eldest child, you quite often have more time alone. And I have found that almost every person I've talked to is very psychic, had somewhere in their life a time where they were alone a lot. And so that's when your guide can come through, because it's like the difference between traffic and a country road. When you're driving down a country road, you can just kind of blank out. But when you're in traffic, you have to be aware. And it's kind of the same way. Okay.
So I had a question about, what was it about your future?
Yeah. Let me read did you get a card put in for you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I had Ashley right.
Okay.
So, are you ready for this?
Yes.
Now let's just put a lot of very positive energy around and see what happens. Listen, how can we help groups of people that have conflict with each other learn to get along? First of all, don't make them wrong. Okay? And say, oh, that's interesting. You have conflict with this person. Now, what are you worried about? Because when conflict comes up, it's because they're worried about something and they want you to know that they're worried. Ask them what they're worried about. I had my grandmother who one day was saying that people who were different, you should stay away from. And I said, why? And she said, well, they're not like us. And I said, yes, they are. I said, they've got 2 eyes and 2 legs, and they're very much like us. She said, but they're a different color. And I said, so are our cows. We lived on a dairy. And we had Guernsey, and we had Jersey, and we had Holsteins, but they were all cows. And they all got along fine. And that was the only thing I could relate to that was living that were different. And she looked at me like, well, you're right. And that stopped that. From then on, there wasn't anything about anybody else being different. So think about that. Conflict usually comes because a person thinks they're right and the other person's wrong. And so what you do is you just listen to both sides and just be very non-judgmental. Sometimes it's hard. But Ma says the more you do that, the more you don't judge things, the easier it becomes for you. What do I need to prioritize this year for my best outcome? And right now, what my guide says, whoever that question, just somebody know who, you don't have to raise your hand, but just know that what Ma says about that is that you need to figure out where exactly you want to live, and you want to figure out what you're going to do about that. You're also going to have to look around and say, what do I want to do when I get older so that I will be happy? Oh, what can I do to support unity in our nation and the world? There again, you being happy and not finding wrong in any other area is going to be the best thing you can do to support everybody. You being happy. How many of you have ever been angry, upset, or really depressed? Anybody in here be angry, upset, or depressed at any time? And somebody walks by and says, "Good morning, how are you?" And they got a smile. And what does that do? Immediately makes you feel better because you want to match that energy. I wake up every morning, amazing, I know, and take a shower, and stand in front of my full-length mirror, perfectly naked, and say, "You're a beautiful lady."
Yeah.
Or, "Oh God, you look good this morning." All 200 and however many pounds I am at that time, you know. But what that does is it starts my day in a positive way. I haven't had a chance to listen to anybody else say anything negative. So this is what you can do to support unity. And our nation is to support your group. Support you, then your spouse or your children. Not saying anything negative. That starts that, just like a pebble in the lake, it starts that ripple effect. Because Ma says, you are important. But when you cease to think you're important, you cease being important. Okay? See what I mean about Ma? Will I be able to get over my grief enough to work and have a life again? Do you want to hold on to your grief? Ma says, right now all you have is your grief. Because your grief is what you're holding on to. So if you were holding on to a rope and there was a lake of dinosaurs, Ma! I saw alligators, he saw dinosaurs, that guy is old. And you're not going to want to let go because this is safety, this rope. But what you have to do is look for something else to grab onto. Ma says, wait until you hold on to something else, then let go of the grief. But when the grief is supporting you, it's almost impossible to let it go. And as Jan does with all of her work with grief support, there are so many things that you can hold on to that help you move away from the grief. But to just let it go, bam, sometimes you feel like you've let go of the person that you're grieving for, or the people you're grieving for. We don't want you to do that. We want you to move on, not just let go. Have you ever heard that before? Oh, good. I never know what Ma's going to say. Will my art career restart to its past glory and beyond soon in my health? My daughter will love and respect me. Okay, as far as your art is still not advertised enough. Find somebody who will pick up the ball and help you run with it. You can't push you're not good at advertising yourself. So you have to have somebody that can help you. There's lots of people out there. Find someone that will help you sell your art. And yes, can you get back to your past glory? Your glory's still there. It's not past. It's still there. You just need to push it further out, is what Ma says. And your daughter, will your daughter love and respect you? Not until you love and respect your daughter. Isn't that a difficult one? Ma's always saying that we want people to love us, but sometimes we don't show love to them the way they need it, not the way we think love is. How many of you have a specific way of receiving love?
Everybody does.
Everybody has a specific way of receiving love. Sometimes it's compliments, sometimes it's gifts, sometimes it's words, sometimes it's actions. Find out the way they receive love. And ask somebody, how can I show you I love you?
Chicken soup.
And sometimes they'll look at you and say, just shut up about it. Ma says that people don't ask enough from another person. How can I show you? What can I do that you will accept? Because a lot of times if there's been walls put up, it's hard to break through. So Ma says, start asking more questions. Okay, general health. My guy says, right now your general health's not very good. I don't know who this is for, that if any other people are listening, but for this particular person, your general health doesn't feel pretty good because your immune system feels kind of rocky. So you're going to be having coughs and colds and upset stomach and all sorts of things until your body gets more stabilized. Retirement is not coming up this year. And you will retire, but it's not going to be this year. And something else needs to be done to change where you're going. Because right now you're not happy. People seem to think when I retire I'm going to be happy. No. You're either happy or you're not happy, and retirement has nothing to do with it.
Right.
Because when you're working, you have a place to go and something to do. When you retire, you don't. Yeah. And then you lay in bed and go, oh, what should I do today? That doesn't make you happy. So start looking at retirement is not a panacea. My guy keeps saying, people say to me, Dottie, when are you going to retire? And Ma says, never. She's not going to retire. Thank you, Mom. You want to know about property. How many of you want to know if you're going to buy property or move next year? Any of you? Okay, be aware we're going to have rocky real estate this year. We're going to have inflation, we're going to have interest is going to go up and interest is going to go down. If you find a place you like, buy it and don't worry about it, because the worry is going to get you in a worse shape than the interest rates. But interest is going to be, they're going to do all sorts of things to try and combat inflation, okay? So just know this year is going to be different. Stock-wise, property-wise, everything else, it's going to be rocky. So don't say, well, I'm going to wait until the price gets to such and such. The prices in California are not going down, folks. We're not going to have a 2008 where some of them go down. But so if you're going to buy property, buy it and don't look back. But don't keep saying, well, one of these days it's going to be cheaper. No, it won't. Okay. What will be the biggest change in my life in 2022? I have no idea who this is. So that's a hard one. Some of you may have come in late. I said, please put a little name or a symbol on it so I can address people. I guess we missed that part of this because I have things that are, I don't know who they are, and Ma's not picking up anything from your printing.
That one's mine.
Okay, is that when you,
yeah.
Did you give me 3 cards, or how many cards did you give me?
Only 1 card.
Okay. What will be the biggest change in my life in 2022 is relationship for you. This is a different relationship than you're used to, but my guide says it's a very positive relationship that's coming up, and it's with somebody that you don't know yet. Okay? Who will give me a new car? I don't think that's the word. Who will give me a new car? Did anybody claim that one?
That's me, Dottie. My car died in the driveway.
My guide says your car is not dead. He said it does need some help. But it's not dead. What?
A lot of help.
Yeah, and he says, but no, I don't see anybody giving you a car. But what Ma says is there is somebody you know who's getting rid of a car, and it doesn't cost that much money. So put your energy out there. Excuse me, microphone. Put your energy out there, and that's what will happen. Okay. Eddie, can you read that? It looks like Sal, and I don't think they have a pig.
Do you see my son better mentally?
Oh, son, thank you. Do you see my son better mentally? Okay, my guide says this one. Your son is frustrated with life. This is not just about a mental thing. It's a frustration of he doesn't know what he wants to be, and he's not happy with who he is. Who wrote this? Okay, so what my guide says is listen more to him. Find out who he is, not who he presents himself as. Do you understand that? Because inside is this great person, but he's acting out because he doesn't know who he is. A lot of times people come in and they don't know who they are until they're 40. Sometimes people come in and they know who they are by 18 months. He's just not quite sure who he is. In other words, he's like walking a tightrope. He's swaying back and forth, not sure who he is. So just keep listening to him. You might think, people seem to think it's best to, somebody doesn't know who they are, to talk to them and tell them who they are. No, it's best to listen to them tell you who they are. Okay. Do you see positive body awareness practice thriving as a service in this neighborhood? No. Unless positive body awareness is the name of a company, yes. But as far as the whole neighborhood being positively aware and active, there's a little symbol. So positive body awareness practice is a business, yes. My guide says we see the business thriving, but as far as the whole neighborhood thriving, no. Does that make sense, whoever asked this? So what you want to do is you have to start getting out and telling people who you are, what you do, and why you're doing it. A lot of people know what you're talking about, but they don't know why it works for them. And you need to get out and tell the people the why, not just that they need to do this. Somebody on the purple sheet, what are things going to look like for me in 2022? Okay, Amanda, we keep seeing a lot more of getting out. This pandemic has been very difficult for you because you haven't been able to get out. And so 22 is getting out more, and also being part of more groups, more activity. And there's a person that my guide says you're going to be very interested in, and you need to let them know you're interested in them. Not just thinking, oh, well, they don't know I exist. They do, but they need to know you're interested. Okay?
Okay. So the person, they don't know if it's a guy or...
No, they're just saying person. Ma could care less about gender.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? He doesn't say you're going to meet a man, a woman. He doesn't care. As long as they're good to you. That's all he cares about. Okay, vegan food business thriving. Yes, but there again, there needs to be more advertising. This is something that people don't know what you're doing. And please start advertising more and giving workshops. Ma says, people when they hear vegan they think it means they can only eat kale, and it turns them off. Okay. And so Ma says that for any business to thrive, people need to know what you're doing. Have you ever gone by a store and you don't know what they do there? Mm-hmm. You don't knock on the door and say, you just kind of walk right by. So Ma says you have to let people in the neighborhood know what you're doing, but they need to see how it would work for them. Okay. Will the pandemic ever be over? We started out with that. The pandemic, the fear, the scarcity, all of the stuff is going to slowly slide away, but the virus is still going to be around. But we have to find ways to deal better with that than we have been. I noticed I was in a public restroom on one of our stops coming up from Southern California, and I was amazed how many people didn't wash their hands. You know, and this is, you're handling a door that the other people have handled, and you don't know how sick or not that they are. So we as individuals, there again, it's an individual thing. You can't tell other people what to do, but individually, you need to take care of yourself. Thank you, Ma. Thank you, Dottie. I love you. I like anything I need to know. Guide me through this year. Yeah, my guide says that what you need to know is that there are more people that you're going to be getting involved, a little bit like Amanda. There's more people that you're going to be getting involved with this year. So this is a year that every party you're invited to, go. Every time somebody says, we'd really like for you to do X, do it. Because this is a time you're going to be reaching out to more people. And you're going to find that people in your life make you feel better than you had thought they did. How do I balance my desire to do creative endeavor and help to facilitate a meeting and doing practical tasks? One of the things that Ma said is you need to get more organized and say Friday and Saturday is just creativity, or Thursday night, or put it in your appointment book like all the other appointments you have, and that's the time. And then just close the door and say, I'm doing creative things. I'm painting, or I'm writing, or whatever. But until you establish a time to do it, you're going to keep being interrupted, and because you haven't stated, this is my time for me to do this. And Ma says it's important that you do that. Put it on the calendar. Will my 2 wishes be fulfilled this year? My guide says the wish that you have that involves your health. Who's this? Did somebody have 2 wishes and one of them's health? There's something that's not, one of you is the 2 wishes. I mean, I'm looking at 2 people and they both raise their hand. Oh, okay. Okay, because there's somebody here who is asking about their health, and what my guide says is their health, it looks like it's not as bad as they think it is. The will my 2 wishes be fulfilled this year? That person who says no, that's not health-wise. My guide says yes, but both of them need you to be more involved. They're not, God's just not going to zap and answer them. You need to actually take steps to be involved for this to come about. Okay. Okay, anybody else?
We got some.
Oh, I'm going to have to sit down for these. Can you still hear my voice if I sit down?
Hang on a sec. We can probably work with that.
My left knee just said...
That's it.
No, my left knee is saying, I'm not Ma.
Why don't you go ahead and sit down?
Okay. Annie, could you hold this?
Absolutely. I was going to take it and read that further.
Anybody else have anything? Yes.
Can we hold till we get reset? Let's finish.
Okay, and you're gonna take a mic over to the, over there and read from there, right?
Right.
Yep.
There
And
she goes, we can't see
for
her.
the people that are remote, can we just say that we're going to go another 30 minutes because we've got a lot of online questions?
Okay.
I mean, I'm not telling you that. We're right at the ending time right now.
Okay, there we go.
Let me get this up closer.
Okay.
Hang on a second.
Now, and Ed or Annie, if you could move the podium so I can see people. So I don't feel like I'm going to
Wait a minute. Wait. I'll do it.
Okay, I'm going to do it because he's
Oh, and there's water in that.
Correct.
Okay. There we go. Yay!
You need your water back?
Yeah, why don't you bring me my water back if there's any still left in it?
Not a drop spill.
Yay! It's magic!
You are amazing.
Okay.
You took care of me, but I must work for two people, and I don't know if I'm allowed to ask about them.
No, you can't ask about anybody else.
Okay.
It's none of your business. That's the big thing that Ma always says. You can only deal with your life. You can't tell other people what to do or ask their questions. When people call me from Michigan, I do readings all around the world. And when people call me from, they want to know about their next door neighbor's dog. I said, don't. That's not. Yeah, don't shoot the dog. That's all I can tell you. Other than that. So what do you think about Ma? Isn't he interesting? It always amazes me what he does to say. Okay.
The great reveal. Check.
Okay.
Okay, from Christine. What does Ma say about a lump on my right breast?
Ma says that you should have had it looked at last week because it seems to be growing. I don't get it's cancerous, but I would rather you have a medical person. If you think that it's going to be cancerous, you can, people listen to this because it's very important. Ma says this a lot, and what he's saying is, if you think something is harmful to your body, it will become harmful for your body.
Right.
So think about that. And if you say, I think this might be harmful, have it checked immediately so your negativity doesn't make it feed. Disease seems to feed on negativity is the best way Ma can say that to you. Okay.
Okay, and then Patty had asked, basically the 2022 financial picture. You may have already touched on that.
Is it P-A-D-D-Y or P-A-T-T-Y?
TTY.
Okay, yeah, the financial picture for the world, as my guide says, is up and down. For the country, it's going to be up and down. But for her personally, it looks like it's going to improve.
Okay. We had a lot of people just saying Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, a lot of people. Happy New Year, Laura. Happy New Year, Joyce C. Happy New Year to all the people that are watching.
Okay, this will be good. Simon, my question for 2022 is, how can I figure out what I want? Just in general.
Okay, Simon, just go into a meditation, close your eyes, and say, give me a picture of what I should truly be doing in life. And your guidance will come through, because Ma says you have a strong guide that you ignore completely quite often. And so you have to get perfectly grounded, totally quiet, close your eyes, and ask your guide to show you a picture, not the words, but a picture of what is best to make you the happiest.
Okay, from Christine. Will there be civil unrest this year? Are we?
You realize that the United States is born on war?
Yes.
The revolution was battle. The United States battles. And Ma says, the United States is one of the most warlike countries we have.
Yeah.
When we point fingers at other countries. See, Ma comes from India. And they were taken over and all this, and he does not like battle and he does not like war. And he says, to say that the United States is going to be peaceful is to say that ducks drown. Thank you, Mom. I get a better picture. Okay.
Let's see. Will there be another Great Depression like in the 1930s?
No.
Okay.
I like that.
Ma says no because there's a lot of it's like they used to they didn't have brakes. Ma says that it used to be that there weren't brakes to stop it from going as deep as it can now, and there are brakes in.
Okay, from Brianna, aka Songbird. Question on rebalancing the masculine and feminine. Hi, Mahalaleel. I'm hearing from the indigenous elders that the masculine and feminine must be rebalanced in order for humankind to return to balance and peace. How does Ma see that in the evolution of humankind at this time? How can each of us further that rebalancing of the masculine and the feminine? Thank you.
Ma has this is interesting because Ma was talking about this. In Native American and various tribes, if a family had 4 girls and the 5th was a girl, they raised her as a boy. And because they needed a hunter and not somebody that gathered and did the things that the women did, and vice versa. If they had 4 boys, they raised the 5th boy as a girl who could grind acorns and do all that. And then those children sometimes would grow up to marry a male or a female. They didn't care because their spirit was one spirit. Their spirit wasn't in half. That wasn't male spirit, female spirit. It was one spirit. And Ma says the more we can get into a one spirit and not identifying male and female, Ma says the indigenous people all over the world always knew it was important to have that balance of male-female. And that it just got crazy when, after the goddess, Ma says that you let go of your female archetype. And everybody said they had to follow a male archetype. And it started blending, not blending, but started absolving that energy of we are the same and we are loved and we are one with Creator. So in answer to our question, when is that going to happen? As soon as people start accepting everybody for exactly who they are, and they're perfect in their own way. I still hear people say, well, that person should do this and this person should do that. No, this person should be a child of God, which we all are. And that's one of the biggest lessons Ma has, or biggest sayings is, we're all children of God. You don't look at a homeless person and say, he's no good. He's a child of God. Thank you.
Linda Lambert, my son Mike returned from Maine and has a cold. Is this a cold or COVID?
Ma says that he's been tested and has been tested negative, and we don't see this as COVID. If it is, it's a different. Ma's not picking up on COVID, but he's picking up on a bad cold.
Okay, from Susan Moon. Regarding USA and China issues, will they be resolved peacefully this year?
You don't like this answer. Ma, they don't like this answer. Ma says, when has the United States ever been peaceful? In other words, we are not going about it peacefully. Okay. Ma says that the United States always wants to be the one with all the marbles. So that he just really feels that there are people that are what is this? What's he called it? He says our dignity is, we're always afraid our dignity is, he's using the word dignity, I don't understand this. He says, we're always afraid that our dignity is going to be hurt. And we don't want to bend. And we need to learn how to bend and work with people instead of wanting to be the winner at all times. Okay.
From Donna Christensen, my question for Dottie is, Bill came so close to crossing over in 2021, how will he do in 2022?
He needs to make a decision if he wants to leave or not. And so far, his decision to stay has overweighed whatever physical ailments he has. He is one of those that when people say, oh, you know, he's on his deathbed, he's going to say, no, I'm not. And if we can keep that spirit going, he will stay as long as he wants to. And the minute he says, oh, okay, I believe the doctors and I'm going to die tomorrow, he will be gone the next day. keeping that energy strong, that he wants to live a few more years, is really positive for him.
Okay, from Maureen, do you see Putin being removed from power in 2022?
Putin has a lot more power than we know about here. It would be the, there's nothing quite the same. Ma says that if he wants to be removed from power, he will be. If he doesn't, he has too much support to be able to be removed forcibly. Did that answer it? On that one, I was just saying words. I just told you exactly what Ma said.
Okay, so let's see. Cheryl Lewis asked something. Cheryl, I didn't see it come in on the Zoom chat, so if you can type it in again, I'll pass it on. Let's see. Okay, Turtle 3, who is Marie in Canada. Will 2022 continue to be as crazy job-family relationships as it has been for the past 9 to 18 months?
For her or for the country?
Not specified.
For her.
I think it's for her.
Probably for
Okay.
Okay.
Probably for her.
It depends on what she wants, because Ma says that she can work anywhere. She's very talented, and things are a lot of things are still you can work from home. But she has to decide what it is she wants. She's waiting for the other people to decide what she should do, and she needs to decide absolutely what she wants.
Let's see. Okay, from Simon. Question from Casey. How can I do my part to dismantle ableism in communities of faith? That's spelled ABLEISM.
She wants to do something personally, or does she want to get a group together to do it? Because Ma says she needs to make more people identified with what is needed. Most people in just not just faith culture, but any other thing, they don't know what it is to be able to look at somebody who is different and accept them totally. There's always judgment. And so there needs to be bigger and more stronger groups that can say, hey, you need to be looking at things differently. There's so many different ways to look at things, Casey, and people don't know what's right. I see so many people that, when Ma always says, if you don't know what to do to help somebody, ask them. If you see somebody who is going to cross the street and you're afraid they're going to get hit by a car, you don't grab their arm and scare them half to death because a stranger's grabbing their arm. You say, what can I do to support you? And they say nothing. You know, for me, people watch me walk and say, here, let me help you. No, I want to do it myself. I might sound like a 5-year-old kid, but I want to do it myself. I want to be able to enable me to do the best I can. And people seem to think that they know what's best for me, and I think that's one of the things that she's talking about. Everybody needs to know that just because somebody you don't think hears well enough, sees well enough, walks well enough, talks well enough, you don't have to correct them. You can ask them, what can I do to help? Okay. Ask Casey if that works. Ask Simon if that works.
Simon, you heard it direct. Text me it. Okay, from Ollie, A-L-L-Y. Question number 1. Is it a good idea for me to change jobs? Is consulting something I could...
No, consulting doesn't work too well, but it would be a good idea to change jobs because there's somebody where she's working right now that is very poisonous, is the only word Ma's giving me.
And question 2, any changes in my personal life?
I'm going to ask just like the first question, does she want something different to happen in her personal life? I don't see anybody being mean to her or hurting her, but if she's something positive, she has to take a step to do it.
Okay, and from Cheryl Lewis, Will I get a job or have another source of income this year?
Yes, definitely. In fact, there's 2 jobs that are going to be coming up for her. One of them in January and the next one in February. I wouldn't hold out and wait for the February one. Ma says take the first job that comes and you can always go on to the other one.
From Linda Lambert, will Congress/Senate pass the Federal Voting Rights Act in 2022?
They're going to argue until 2023.
And from Tamara, if I move to Texas, would that work out for me?
It depends on why you're moving to Texas. If you have family and friends there, yes. If you're going to go there by yourself, you're going to be so alone and so miserable that you're going to want to decide to come back and you can't.
And from Gail Harlow. Hi, Ma. I have so many things I'm trying to keep handled right now. Where should I place my energy the most for the best outcome? General answer, maybe?
Yes, on your own health. Take care of you. Remember, you're the most important person in the world right now. Your father is being taken care of. The house is being taken care of. Everything is, let it go, that people can take care of it, and just hold on to you. Ma says it's kind of like you think you're on a sinking ship and everything is going under, and it's not at all. The ship is just rebalancing itself.
So Simon's answer came in. Thanks, Dottie, for answering both questions, and he did an old school text-based emoji. He's happy.
Oh, good. Thank you, Simon.
That looks like it wraps it up, Dottie.
Okay, anybody else? Yes, Mary?
Do you get, from Ma, do you get full sentences, or how do you interpret what's
It's just like you say, Dottie, what do you think? And I'll say, oh, I think da-da-da. Same thing. You ask me something and Ma starts talking. And sometimes he doesn't shut up. And sometimes I don't understand what he's saying. You know, somebody said, Dottie, I want to know what's happening with my modem. It won't work. And Ma said, I died in 1825. End of story. And when it comes to computers, telephones are still, he's not too sure about. But people, Ma is more involved with people and what they need. And it always boils down to, as you can tell, is stop making other people wrong, stop making you wrong, start loving yourself, and start accepting that everybody's a child of the universe and a child of God. And those basics are incredible when you watch them work. You know, I had somebody walk up to me once and said, Dottie, do you love everybody? And I said, of course. And I said, wait a minute, I have one person I don't like. And they said, well, is that bad? I said, no, because anything that happens to me, I blame her. Sounds awful, doesn't it? But it works for me. Oh, it's her fault. You know? Because I'm not perfect. But in Chinese, where you have that place that everything that's made has a little bit of imperfection, because only God can make things perfect. I feel like a little bit of imperfection is fine. Yes, Chris?
Assuming if it doesn't kill me, it makes me stronger, how strong will I be getting?
First, what was the first sentence you made?
I was being flippant, sorry. I'm just interested in what Ma says about me and the next year or two for me and how.
Okay, are you ready? You gonna write this down because it's gonna be quick. Okay. Ma says, first, your health is gonna get better. Second, financially you're gonna be doing fine. Third, your relationship needs some work. And 4, the place where you're living also needs some work.
Good. Thank you.
That's quick.
Okay. Yeah. Isn't that, yeah. And Sean, you have a question.
Besides the fire.
All right. All right. But I'm coming up here to ask you, so you're clear about how I'm asking this. So, numerologically, My first, middle, and last name are a 3, Sean Michael Imler. I became aware of, just this year, that my first and last name, just Sean Imler, is a 33. Which is
before you go further,
okay.
Ma says he does not believe in numerology.
Okay.
When he was around, all numerology was just, I mean, numbers are just marks on he said numbers are just marks on a wall. And they don't have any being as far as what's coming up for you in the future. But if it makes you feel good, have at it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Goes back to numbers? Yes.
Yes, Chris.
My wife Rebecca wanted me to ask, how long are we going to live in the house that we live in?
This house has a spirit in there. Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it bothers you, please talk to it, or ask me and I'll come over and talk to it. But it's trying to be positive, but you're not feeling the energy it's trying to give you. It's not a bad house, okay? And this is not a bad spirit. But have you been talking about adding to your family?
Oh.
Have you been talking about having somebody else come live with you?
No. Not really.
And you weren't talking about getting pregnant or something like that?
No.
Okay, the reason I say that, because Ma says that you're going to want more room in your house. So that's the only reason he sees that you really need to leave, because we don't see it's a bad house.
Huh. It's a huge house.
Okay.
Lots of kids.
Yeah, there's something there, but somebody was going to want to come stay with you, and you decide that, well, maybe you ought to do another house. And it might not be the house, it might be the land around it, that you want more land. But it's something where you want to expand. But the house itself is not bad. Okay? Okay, anybody? Yes, not Lonnie.
Yeah, I got separated from somebody very special in my life years ago, and I'm wondering if we'll ever cross paths again, or is he?
Is this person?
Or did he go home?
Yeah, I don't feel this person's energy.
Oh, okay. That means he left?
What?
That means he's gone?
Yeah, I don't feel his energy. Either he's not on the planet or he's quite a ways removed from here. You know,
Well,
because
he was removed quite a ways, yes.
yeah, that because you know, usually when you ask about somebody, I can pick up on their energy, but Ma says no, he's virtually out of the picture.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, but it looks like distance-wise more than emotionally.
Oh, so the chances of crossing paths probably.
Yeah, we don't see that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Mary?
My daughter's talking about moving and buying a house elsewhere.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to like it because she's going to be moving, but it feels like she needs to own something that she can put roots down and feel this is my forever home. And she doesn't feel that where she's living. Yeah. Okay, anybody else? Yes, Amanda.
So is it okay if I just take this so you can understand me better?
Yeah,
Can I
sure.
go next?
Yes.
So when something happens, I get ringing sounds in my ears. So I was wondering, how do I go about hearing like actual voices?
Oh, ask. There again. Just get into that place of meditation or prayer. Either meditation or prayer lowers your energy down and very quietly say, thank you. Okay, you don't say you're wrong, you're a jerk because you're bringing me rings. You say thank you, whatever you've heard. Thank you, and I would like to have words that I can understand.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Think of your spirit guide as a little 4-year-old boy that knocks on your front door. And you open the door and say, how may I help you? And I'm so glad you're here, but it's time for you to go home, or it's time for you to tell me what's going on or what I should do. Just talk to your guides. Every one of you came in with a helper, a guardian angel, a spirit guide. You were not sent down here alone, and so when you acknowledge that there is a presence that's there supporting and helping you, And it's not negative. It's not going to tell you bad things. If somebody voice tells you you're a no good whatever, that is not your spirit guide. If that happens, then you see my wonderful wife, who happens to be a hypnotherapist specializing in releasing any negative entities. And that's what she does. Because your guide is never going to tell you you're bad, stupid, fat, ugly. That's not your spirit guide. That's something you've picked up on at a local bar. The reason I say a local bar, there are more bad spirits, all puns intended, in a bar than any place else. So just know that if you're drinking and you drink in a bar, because a lot of times after people die and they don't feel that they're worthy to go on, they want to get a hit that they appreciated when they were alive, and they hang out in bars.
That's different.
So that's why when people come home from a bar and say, I just don't feel good. What happened? Somebody hitchhiked on you. Okay. Yes, Annie?
I just want to follow on with Lonnie's question, because I've been asking this on and off for years. There was somebody special in my life on and off from high school, and when we ran into each other, it was always through very psychic circumstances. I think the last time I ran into him, and I didn't recognize him until too late, was in the early 90s. Will this person ever
cross with you again? Put out where you are. They don't know where you are. And there again, just start getting really quiet and put out that energy of here I am, and address it like it's an envelope. Just put out the energy. You're all stronger than you know. You just think, well, that's not me, or I don't do that, or I can't do that. Yes, you can. And we're all psychic. We all have a spirit guide. But quite often, you don't have the wherewithal to get quiet enough. That's why the eldest child thing, or the only child. And they say, oh, they're so psychic. No,
Corgi.
they just had the time and the space to be able to listen.
There are more questions in the chat.
Yes.
What
Jill?
do I see on the front of my mother's urn?
What do you see?
Say, I think you said.
No, you said see, not say.
What do I see when I look at it on the front of my mother's urn?
Your mother, her energy. She knows that you're going to look at that, and she wants you to know that she's still around. She comes around every once in a while. And if you don't want her around, cover the front of the urn up with something. If you want her around, keep it uncovered. So you can agree with her. You need to move on for your journey. People don't need to sit here. Spirits don't need to sit here after they've died. They need to go on. So if you have somebody that you're feeling you're being haunted, or you have somebody who you feel you don't want, you just tell them to go on. If you have somebody you like feeling their energy, say, Mom, I like feeling your energy, but it's time for you to move on. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, Sherry.
What do spirits do in the spirit world? Do they just wait
Law
to be reborn?
Law says anything we want.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, now, when you visualize a spirit, what do you see?
A bright light.
Yeah, it's energy. Your mother, father, brother, sister do not have the same body. They're just an energy, and seeing a light is perfect. So just think of lights dancing, and like you can see dust dancing, that's like spirits dancing. Okay, so you get in your head, oh, they're not in body. That's a real hard one for some people. Okay, Ed.
All right, from Allie. Thank you, Dottie. One more question, if I may. Would Kirk be a good partner for me? Not the captain.
Kirk doesn't know you well enough to know whether he's going to be a good partner. You need to spend more time with Kirk before you can answer that question. It's not what you know about him, it's what he knows about you. He needs, tell her, Kirk needs to know more about her to be a good partner.
From Sky. Happy New Year, Dottie. I do have a question. With COVID-19 killing less people this year does that mean our daily lives will be no longer be affected by the virus being present?
I'm going to cough right on cue here. Ma said this virus is going to be present forever, and we're going to learn how to adapt, and we're going to learn how to work with it, and there's going to be a lot fewer deaths this year than there was last year, and so we're going to have to adapt with that and learn how to sanitize, learn how to be careful. There's going to be fewer times when people are kissing each other unless they're partners and they've been kissing each other for a long time. Things are going to be different. It doesn't mean they're going to be bad.
Okay, and from Maureen, climate change. Will the Build Back Better bill ever pass in the Senate, or are we going to be able to reverse the effects another way?
Well, that's one of those things that Ma answered, but one other Ma speaks. Ma says that there's going to be more and more money put into desalinization of ocean water, so that we don't just rely on climate, because we've gone too far to just rely on Mother Nature. We need to start getting more water, and the ocean has plenty of it, and whoever comes up with the best desalinization still is going to be able to pay for itself with the minerals they get out of the ocean. Ma's been talking about this for years.
From Turtle 3, I'd have to go back up to find her name. Is there something I need to do for my dad? It feels like he wants to move on.
Ask him and say, Mom, Dad, are you ready to go? And if he says yes, you say, okay, what can I do to support you?
And from Cheryl Lewis, what does Ma see about my health?
Ma says that you've got something going on in your gut. It's not your stomach, it's your gut. And you need to find somebody who can calm that down. I've talked to Cheryl on this. Drink lots of warm water, not cold water. Ma says that cold water just stops our digestive system the way it should be. And also to just very much stop worrying about it. It's going to get better, but you can't make it completely better. You need more help in going to a specialist. I don't know what they call a gut specialist, but whatever it is, Ma says that, you know.
GI, gastrointestinal specialist.
Yeah. And find out somebody who does it naturally and not with. You can't do strong medicine right now. Your gut won't absorb it, so it'll just be paying money and flushing it down the toilet.
And from Christine, when can I stop wearing a mask?
When you're at home.
Or in your car.
It's probably time.
It's time. Okay, thank you so very much. And now our wonderful Associate Pastor is going to lead us in a closing prayer. And as she gets up here, would you please get your donation ready? Because after she does a prayer, we're going to pass the basket. And we might ask, yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Hi there.
Hi. Do you want to sit down next to Donnie?
You want to sit down?
Do I get to sit down next to Donnie?
Yeah.
Okay. So there were two things that I wanted to share with you, actually. This morning I reached in my pocket over here, and I had like a little thing from a Chinese restaurant, and it says, "Make happiness happen." Yay! Woo! So let that become our affirmation for 2022. Let's make happiness happen. Happiness comes from within. I saw a special this morning because our dearest Betty White has moved on, and yeah, she passed away on Friday. So, she was the most amazing, powerfully positive person in the world. And Wendy Malick, one of the actresses that worked with her, said people used to walk up to her and say, "Do you know what it is that I really hate?" And Betty would say, "No, I don't. And frankly, I don't care. I don't ever want to hear what you hate. Tell me what you love. Tell me what's good. Tell me what's right." And she actually attributes that to her very long life. So let's all live a long life and be blessed with that loving energy. Betty White is here to communicate with us all in the same way that Ma, and the oneness and the energy that we have. So let's take a moment to close our eyes very quickly.
And please take a program home with you so you can see what's coming up. The programs are there for you to take, and so that you'll know what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. Thank you.
So let's take a nice deep breath in. And breathe in all that love, light, joy, happiness, everything, abundance, everything that brings us those good feels. And then let us breathe out. And as we breathe out, we release anything that's on our minds, on our hearts, and we can put it into a pretend virtual basket that's sitting right next to us. Creator doesn't care what it is. Creator can take all of your troubles and turn it into something very positive. Dearest Mother, Father, God, dear Creator, thank you for this day. Thank you for our existence, and thank you for all life. We give thanks for this amazing day that we've had, with beautiful messages from our loving Mahalaleel. We know that Ma is here loving everybody and teaching us the true, powerful love of you, Creator. Ma is just a messenger as much as we all can be that messenger, as we each tap into our divine spirit, our divine spark, and we know that we are one with all. And so as we live in this oneness and we let our light shine out, we are surrounded with your love, Creator. We are surrounded with the energies of our Mother Earth, of our Father Sky, of everything that is all good around us. We give thanks for an amazing day. We give thanks for an amazing week coming forward. And we're creating an amazing year. And every person that we meet, with our smile, with our heart, just let it shine through. Show your authentic self. Show that you are connected with Spirit, and know that you are one with all. And in very, very deep gratitude, we say thank you, thank you, thank you. So it is. Amen, and blessed be.
And so it is. And thank you so very much, Annie.
You're welcome.
Speaking of Betty White, Thursday morning I woke up and I said, "Is Betty White dead?" And my son said no, and Corey said no, and then Friday I heard that she had died. So she was broadcasting on her deathbed. She was sending her message of love to everybody. So, yeah.
An amazing word. Okay.
And as you put your donation in the basket, bless it. Just give it a blessing.
Blessing. And giving to the ministry from which we receive our spiritual support and encouragement.
The affirmation consciousness
of the truth that Spirit is the prospering power in reaching every area of our lives. You started me and I went off.
I just wanted to take a moment and invoke the name of Norma Hughes in particular, because Norma, it was always the actresses and the entertainers, sort of in spite of herself, not because of who she was necessarily, in spite of that. And I can just imagine Norma coming in and saying, you know, I don't understand why, but on Wednesday, Betty White was in my kitchen.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank you all very much for being here. If you have any other questions for Ma, so what I'm going to offer you today, if you have a question, since you were here, call me. My phone number is on the program. That's why I had to take the program. And say, Dottie, I had one question I wanted to ask, but I was a little embarrassed to ask it in front of a crowd, and I'll gladly answer it for free. Usually I charge money for readings, but for this one, because you were here today, you get a free question with Ma on the phone, okay? Yay! Thank you so very much. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, and stay warm, and take care of yourself. Thank you. Thank you.